Frank's saying, I learnt a lot about that. Players are coming and knocking on my door and I'm giving them a chance and they are letting me down, essentially. What did you make of it, Stuart?
Well, you could tell in his voice and his words there's a lot of frustration there, and a lot of frustration with the result as well. I think when the draw was made, first thing I looked at was the all Premiership ties, and you think if you're someone sort of that can get through this round, all of a sudden the competition opens right up because a lot of teams have got to go out. Big teams, Premier League teams have got to go out. So it's there for you, and success breeds success. So Frank will be really disappointed with the result, definitely, but probably more so the performance, I would have said.
That's what I said. I'm looking. Lauren and I was speaking earlier, Pearce. I'm looking at the names. It's Holgate, Mina, you get Begovic in goals, Keane, Patterson, Davis, Doucouré, Gordon, Mope. That's
it's not kids.
He's made changes, but you could argue it's a slightly weakened side, but he's not filled it full of kids. You'd expect him to give them a run. I think he's. Well, I know as I said earlier, I know where the buck stops. I get that totally, but I think he's got every right to feel disappointed in these kind of fringe players.
Yeah, and the other side of that, the flip side of that, is it was a good result for Bournemouth, because Bournemouth have been on a bad run as well, so they needed the win. So they've got that, which will give them a lift. Definitely.
Phil is an Everton fan, and he's given us a call on 03717 223344. Good morning to you, Phil.
Good morning, Phil.
Hey, Laura. Hey, Ali.
Hello.
How are you, mate?
I'm very well. How are you?
Yeah. We're in good form, mate. Now, listen, we're kind of caught in no man's land here. We understand why Frank made the changes last night. At the same time, the Everton fans that travelled down there last night would be expecting a far better performance, surely.
Yeah, definitely. I understand he's made 11 changes, but as you were saying, them changes, they're still Premier League proven players. Yerry Mina cost 30 million, so did Michael Keane. And Bournemouth squad, that was a Championship reserve team. Everton should have easily won that game last night. It was just poor defending, and half of them players should just go.
Do you think, Phil, can you see it at all from Frank's point of view, where he's obviously prioritising, you would think, obviously the top flight, and at the same time he thinks, because he's Doral beginning to chat with players that saying, look, I want a chance, I want an opportunity. So can you see where Frank's coming to at all, or you sit in the corner, he used to play the strongest team, it's a real opportunity for a trophy?
Yeah, well, Everton have never won the Carabao Cup or the League Cup. They've never won it in the history. Yeah, well, it's a trophy. At the end of the day, it's a route into Europe. The Premier League's stronger every year. Not many teams are going into it now, and that gets you into Europe, and that gets you money to buy players and attract players. So I don't know why he didn't just go for it. But even the team he put out should have still made a difference. Andy Gordon, everyone's talking 60 million. I don't even think he should even get a game for Everton, so I don't know where all the talk of Tottenham and Chelsea want to sign him.
All right, Phil, thank you so much for your call, mate. Take care. Phil there, the Everton fan. I mean, then there is the argument, Frank actually mentioned it in his interview, the World Cup is around the corner, so you are getting a break. Like, a lot of those players will get a break. Obviously, some of them will go off their country and things like that, but could you argue that maybe you should have put a stronger side out?
Well, I tell you one thing that you can't argue about. The Everton fans, with the greatest respect, aren't at this moment in time worried about the World Cup. They'll be worried about the World Cup when the World Cup comes around. The Everton fans are worried about the next 3 games leading up to the World Cup. And it's been disappointing. Of course it's been disappointing. And you think about it, I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of the Everton fans that travel down there, and they'll have looked at the team and went, okay, whatever it is, 10, 11 changes, but they'll be expecting a far better level of performance. I mean, Phil's absolutely spot on. You think the 2 centre-backs are 60 million?
Yeah, the changes is a red herring here. You have to, as a manager, make changes in the EFL Cup. Yeah. You have to, because players need game time, and you need to keep them as fresh as you possibly can for your normal Premier League starters, if you like.
Yeah. 11 though?
Yes. I think so. He's been through the team. Ali's been through the team. It's a really strong team.
But the argument, I suppose, is there's a lot of players in that team that let him down last season, which was the reason why Everton were struggling so much. You talk about centre-backs, you talk about the likes of the players that didn't step up when he needed them last season. Are they those players that we saw last night?
Yeah, I think you're right. But at the same time, Stuart's right. Frank has to look after his squad. He has to care for his squad in that manner. Now, if I'm one of the players coming in, I'm thinking to myself, surely this is an opportunity for me to have a good game and let the manager know that if he's got any thoughts at all of changing the side, I'm going to be right in his plans. And judging on last night's performance, it doesn't look to be the case.
Just one thing on that. It's not this team and that team and making changes. It's Everton Football Club and utilising your whole squad, and that's what you got to do.
Okay, do you want a lighter story?
Yes, please.
This is wild. League 2 Gillingham, they beat Brentford on penalties. Congratulations to them, because that's very special to go and do that at Premier League ground and everything. The game was actually delayed by 20 minutes due to traffic. Neil Harris's side actually had to walk the game to the ground. So they ended, I think it was about 20 minutes, that walk. And I know exactly where they're talking about, where that traffic would have built up. And it is a nightmare around there. So they had to get off the coach and walk to the ground. But obviously the extra bit of exercise
We've done the same with Brian Clough. I think Millwall got promoted into the old First Division then. And there was a lot of talk about being intimidated when you go to Millwall. So the coach pulled up about a mile away from Millwall's ground in New Cross or wherever it was. And he said, right, everyone off, we're walking. And we walked to the ground. My good God, you've never seen... He was at the front with a walking stick going backwards and forwards, like, and no one wanted to be last man standing at the back in case you took a rogue punch. And we literally stopped the coach. We're walking, as much to say, we'll show you, you don't intimidate us.
Oh, man.
How many fans did you pass?
Loads. It was pre-game, and you didn't get to the ground till 2 o'clock in those days. So it'd have been about quarter to 2.
Your teammates, Pearce.
Yeah, it was.
I can tell you right now, I had to strategically position myself in the middle of the kirk, the body of the kirk.
I was in there, fella. I was leading from the middle, as you do as a captain.
You're the kind of player that you'd want on the end, though, wouldn't you?
No chance.
I'd back you.
This face is far too pretty, you know.
I'd have looked up and said, what are you doing in here, Piercy? You should
kick him out. Okay, the EFL Cup action, it continues tonight. Forest are hosting Spurs on talkSPORT. Liverpool have got Derby on talkSPORT 2. Neither game is on TV, so make sure you listen to us on our free app. We've got you covered. 8:16.
talkSPORT Breakfast with Laura Woods. Monday to Wednesday mornings 6 till 10. On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.